Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Friday, August the 14th. As you can see, the S&P 500 closed at a record high yesterday, making a brand new high with, of course, the QQQ along with some of the semis that pushed up nicely yesterday as well. We had DRAM, MU, SNDK, a lot of the memory names bouncing yesterday as well, back towards the upside. Once we're able to get above the previous day highs, we end up having some nice continuation above that previous day high. So, that being said, hope you guys are doing well. What's up, everyone? Good morning, Kelvin, JTAN, TW. Good morning, B Roots, Wallace, Maria. Can you take a look at SK Hynix? Yes, for sure. What's up, Bobby, Knight? Good morning, Andy, Cody. What's up, Ryan, Gerald? Good morning, Cinna, Andrea, Moni, Maria. What's up, Gustav? What's up, David? What's up, everyone? What's up, Andrea? What's up, Julius? Yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Let me pull up the economic calendar here. We do have some orange folder news events today. As you can see here, for this morning at least, we do have some orange folder news that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Core retail sales month over month. And then at 10 a.m., we do have consumer sentiment, which is going to be at 10 a.m. Plus, we have President Trump speaking later today. That's going to be at 3 p.m. So, that being said, we'll kind of go over some tickers once again, and then we'll talk about the core retail sales, how that impacts the market, and then we'll go on to, we'll kind of develop our game plan from there. With that being said, let's start off here, of course, with the major indices. Let me pull up the EMAs here as well. Let me grab some water here and we'll get started. I have a question question about your Discord. Who can I contact? Randy, you can, I guess if you haven't joined the Discord, then you can send me an email. That one's in the description. Long time I see your camera. What's up? I've been just lazy with the camera, I guess. But I don't know. If you guys really want to see my face, I can put up the camera. But yeah, let's start off here with the SPY. Okay, first things first, as you can see, we did make a brand new all-time highs here. We talked about that kind of break above our previous day highs. We had that flat top-ish kind of break on the higher time frames as well. And now you can see we made a brand new all-time highs here on the SPY, plus we had a pretty strong candle close. So yesterday, the key levels that we have marked out was just this 775. That was a level we rejected from multiple times. And we mentioned if we can now break above this 775, we can see this flip and we can see continuation towards the upside. So once we're able to get above that previous day highs, that was a good sign that we're looking for, of course, continuation towards our all-time highs. So with the SPY closing above our all-time highs and we end up having push above that 775. The key levels that we have marked out here now coming into today is just going to be that previous day highs. So we have our previous day highs, we have our previous day lows. Right now, currently, you can see we end up having a nice push higher. We created a higher low and we end up closing above our previous all-time highs, which happens to be that 776. What would we like to see coming into market open? Really for today, we have a couple levels marked out. We have that previous day close. So potential previous day close bounce for a push up in towards our all-time highs. Above our previous day highs now, we can see continuation towards the upside here as well. So we're above our previous day highs. The markets, at least on the lower time frames, of course, is bullish. And now we can see continuation back towards the upside. So that's what we have for the SPY coming into market open here. If you go on to the ES, very similar thesis. Once we're able to get above our key technical levels, you can see we actually came back down for that retest as well. So multiple rejections off that 7,800. Once we're able to get above, we end up having that nice push into that all-time highs. And you can see it actually came back down to retest that previous level of resistance that turned into support, which is off that 7,800, and now we're back towards the upside. So based off this hourly chart, now we just want to see it maintain higher lows above that previous all-time highs for a push back up in towards our previous day highs and above here. So coming to market open, let's keep an eye on just the hold of this kind of previous day close along with our pre-market lows for that push back up in towards our previous day highs, or some sort of just opening drive play up in towards our previous day highs coming into market open. So that's what we have for the ES and SPY chart coming into market open here today. If we take a look at the QQQ chart, we did have a flat top break as well. Multiple touches right around that 730. And I can see higher lows are being built. We have a nice strong candle close. What is the next key levels on Qs? 740 and then all the way back up in towards that all-time highs. If you go on to the lower time frames, the key levels that we have marked out was that 726 along with that 724. Once we're able to break above our previous day highs, we end up having a nice retest above our previous day highs for a push up in towards that 730 and above. Coming into market open here today on the QQQ, the key levels that we have marked out is that previous day highs. Currently, we are hitting that here in the pre-market. So as you can see, a little bit of reaction kind of right off that previous day high so far. If you do want to see continuation coming into market open here today, key level that we have marked out is the hold above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario is going to be the hold of that previous day close for a pushback towards the highs here as well. So for the Qs, the hold of that 734 is going to be key coming into market open here. For continuation towards the highs, if we take a look at the NQ, the key technical levels that we have marked out is just going to be that previous day highs here as well. You can see we finally broke above our key level of resistance here. We've been looking for this break for a while. You can see touch here. If we go into the 4-hour time frame, you can see how many touches we've had off this 30,000. You can see touches here, and then coming into this week, we have multiple touches kind of right off this area. So once we're able to finally break above, now what we want to see is just the hold of this 30,000 for continuation towards the upside. So moving forward, we can just have this key level marked out. We want to see now this level of resistance just turn into support for continuation towards the upside. So key technical levels moving forward, we can mark out that previous kind of all-time highs general area. We can get rid of these levels. So you just want to see that hold of that 30,000, right? I know it is a pretty big level here on the higher time frames. If you would like to readjust this, you can mark that out into that previous day highs, and other levels that we can have marked out here now is just going to be our pre-market lows. So for today, key technical levels, previous day highs hold for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario is going to be the hold of this pre-market lows for continuation back towards the highs here as well. So both the SPY and the Qs is fairly bullish. Once we finally broke above our key levels of resistance, now all we're going to be doing is looking for a continuation towards the upside, now above our previous day highs. If you take a look at the SMH here now, this is the semiconductors. Key technical levels that we have is just going to be that 590 here on the higher time frames. You can see we end up having that nice push above our previous day highs yesterday. We end up having a little bit of a weaker close, but based off of this hourly chart, what we'd like to see now is just build up higher lows. Right, higher lows, reclaim back above that 590 for continuation back towards the upside. What we don't want to see now is this turn into, right, a potential break, right, get back underneath, fake out, and we end up pushing back towards the downside. This is something we don't want to see. We want to see the reclaim back above that 590 for continuation back towards the upside. So back above that 592, we can see room back up in towards our previous day highs here on the SMH. If you take a look at the IWM, this one is fairly bullish here as well. This one finally forming this kind of cup and handle here, and now we're breaking above our previous all-time highs. Key levels moving forward for the IWM is just going to be that previous all-time highs area. So coming into market open here, just keep an eye out on that 303. You can see push up yesterday, Now we just want to see a hold of this 303 for this retest continuation back up in towards that previous day highs. So with that being said, let me head on to some tech names now after going over the major indices. The main levels today, of course, is just going to be that previous day highs here on the QQQ. Now let's head on to Tesla and the rest of the tech names. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, we have about roughly 15 minutes until some orange folder news events. So we'll go over some names here for the next 15 minutes and then wait for the orange folder news. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. Let me grab some water and then we'll head on to some tech names. Okay. With that being said, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is back in towards our key levels here now. This is the original level that I want to see Tesla gravitate towards, which happens to be our earnings really high on the daily candle plus our gap low. This is our previous retest level here as well. So for Tesla, we're right back up into that 340. Yesterday, we mentioned if we can get back above that 330, we have room back towards the upside. If we reject, then we could see a push lower. For now, Tesla, right, higher lows are being built. We're right at that 340 coming to market open. So coming into today, right, 340 is that higher time frame gap. What we like to see now is right just the hold. We're just going to mark out that previous day highs. If we can maintain above that previous day highs, we can be looking for a push up in towards our gap. Above our after hours highs, we can look for a continuation here as well. These are the two really scenarios for upside that we like to see coming into market open. If let's say for Tesla gets underneath this gap, holds underneath now, rejects, then we can see a push right back down in towards really the area that we kind of broke out from, which is this area 336 on the higher time frame. So keep an eye out on that previous day highs. That's going to be key coming to market open. 330, basically that 340 general area here on Tesla. That's just our previous day highs. So let's keep an eye out on this gap fill area coming to market open here for Tesla. As for AMD, we end up having a bounce off our earnings low. We're looking for continuation above our previous day highs yesterday for potential earnings reversal. In this case, AMD, we end up having a previous day high retest, but not too much continuation. You can see nice bounce right off the bat, push towards the upside, held that previous day highs, but ultimately, right later into the session, right, was unable to close above and then got back underneath. And now you can see we're kind of right back into that Wednesday's range that we have marked out. So for AMD, coming into market open here, the key technical levels that we have marked out is just going to be that 490 along with that 480. Another potential bounce play here off our previous day lows are now back above our 490 for any sort of continuation higher. If we get underneath our previous day lows, definitely could potentially see a push back down in towards this gap that we have created, which is that 475 here on AMD. Do you think that Tesla gap will, do you think Tesla's going to close its gap? At least on the daily chart, it eventually is going to fill that daily gap back towards the upside. But we could very much well reject, right? After having a nice bounce play back up into that 430. If we have a strong rejection coming into today, we definitely could see a potential push back down into that like 320, 310 if we have a strong rejection. If Tesla can get inside this gap now and base above, then we can look for a push up in towards that 370 here on the higher time frames. Tesla is right at a key technical area. So we'll just kind of see the reaction that we have based off of yesterday's price action, fairly bullish. We'll see if we can have some more continuation today after yesterday. Nice push up in towards that gap that we have created. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia here on the higher time frames. Above our previous level of kind of resistance, held above our previous day highs here as well. The key technical levels that we have marked out is just that 225. So broke above that 225, held above that previous day highs, and now you can see we're kind of right at this general area coming into market open. So for Nvidia today, what we have marked out, we can just mark out that previous day highs. Other levels that we have marked out here now as well is just going to be that 225. So if you want to see continuation towards the upside, maintain above that 225. That's a higher time frame key level for continuation. Another possible scenario is going to be the hold above that 227 previous day highs for continuation back towards the upside. So these are the two long scenarios that we have coming to market open. Of course, if we break back underneath that 225, hold underneath, then we can see room back towards the downside. That's just based off of the higher time frame. So for Nvidia, let's just keep an eye out on that 225. That's going to be key coming into market open. A hold above that 225. We can see continuation, break back underneath. We can see a potential mean reversion. As for Apple, this one's bouncing off our key level support. Keep an eye out on the break back above our previous day highs for potential continuation towards the upside. Nvidia is the next level that we have is all the way back up in towards really this 236. So within the next coming weeks, any sort of major dip that we do have, Nvidia 236. That next level is going to be that all-time highs. As for Apple, the key technical levels that we have marked out here today is going to be that previous day highs. You can see this is the area that we broke down from. Multiple touches. For Apple, let's see if we can get that flip back above that previous day highs. If we can do that, we can see that mean reversion back towards the upside. So for Apple today, keep an eye on that previous day high break, hold for continuation back towards the upside on Apple. Above 306, we can see 307. Let's take a look at Google here. So Google, this one pulled back. Now we're kind of right back into this kind of earnings key area all the way at 340. This is the original break that we had plus this earnings reversal. Now we're kind of consolidating right at that 342. Other levels that we can have marked out here now is going to be that previous day highs. So just mark out that previous day highs. If we want to see continuation towards the upside, above our previous day highs, hold for a push towards the upside. If we get underneath our previous day lows, we can see continuation towards the downside. So that's what we have for Google coming into market open here. This one is leaning a little bit more bearish just based off of this price action that we have this week. If we get back above that previous day highs, we can see a push back up and towards 348 and potentially 350. As for Microsoft, this one is pulling back, but now for Microsoft, higher time frames, if we're looking at this wise, still building up higher lows. If we can reclaim back above now that 500, as you can see, this is that higher low here on the hourly, broke underneath. Now if you can reclaim back above, we're going to see that push right back up in towards that all-time highs. So for Microsoft coming into today, you can see yesterday a couple kind of reactions off that 500. You can even refine this level right into that previous day highs if you like here as well. But that previous day highs is going to be key. 500 key psych. If you want to see continuation, we need to see the break back above 500, hold for continuation back towards the upside. So 500 key psych level here on Microsoft is key for any sort of continuation back towards the upside. As for Meta, this one is coming right back into that 600. This is the area that we originally broke out from. Now we're coming back down. Let's see if we can get that reclaim here on Microsoft, or sorry, for Meta for a push back towards the highs. This is the area that we broke down from earlier into the week. Let's keep an eye on that previous day highs. If we can break above hold, then we could be looking for continuation back up in towards our previous day highs and above, or sorry, our 600 key cycle level and above. Amazon, this one, a couple of the Mag 7s pulling back. Based off of this higher time frames here, there's really two scenarios on Microsoft. Currently, the first scenario that's playing out is we're getting back underneath that previous all-time highs, and the next retest level technically is all the way back into that 256. So what we wanted to see was the reclaim back above for continuation higher. It came up, rejected, and now we're pulling back. Based off of Amazon, right now we're just really going to be looking for that higher low for continuation higher off our 260. So this is kind of the area that we broke out from. we could see a potential retest all the way back down in towards that 260, which is a lot further away. And based off this daily chart, that seems like that's going to be the next level, unless we can form some sort of higher low right off really now, kind of off this daily chart. We'd have to reclaim back above. So for Amazon, it does seem like now we're probably going to end up retracing back down in towards at least potentially this like 262 area. If you want to see any longs, at least today, you can just mark out that previous day lows, right? You like to see it kind of defend this potential previous day low bounce. And of course, now we're further away from our previous day highs as well. Netflix is a name that we can keep an eye out on coming into market open. This one, we've had some news as of recent. Bill Ackerman putting in a stake on Netflix, reclaiming back above key technical levels. Let's keep an eye out on Netflix now for continuation back towards the upside. Levels that we do have marked out on this one is just going to be that previous day highs. Yesterday, we ended up having a nice bounce for a continuation towards the upside. Now the key levels, let's just mark out that previous day highs here on Netflix, 78.50. Hold above that 78.50 for continuation up in towards our pre-market highs is in play. So this is what we have for Netflix coming into market open here. And then of course for SpaceX, this one is retracing back down in towards that previous area that we broke out from. Let's keep an eye on SpaceX hold above that 139 for continuation back towards the upside. So SpaceX hold of this 139. Now we can also mark out that previous day highs here as well. So you can mark out that previous day highs. And then of course we have that higher time frame key level, which happens to be that 150. So for SpaceX coming into market open here, what we like to see today is the reaction off that previous day highs. If we can break above, hold above that previous day highs, we can see that continuation back up and towards that 150. Another possible scenario, right? Break above later into the session above that 145 continuation higher. If we reject, then we're going to see a push potentially back down into that previous day close along with that previous day lows, which is our 140 here on the higher time frames. So with that being said, coming into market open here, the Q's previous day highs is of course going to be the key level that we have marked out coming into today. We'll head on to some other tickers here. We also do have some orange folder news event in roughly about a minute. So if you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can drop them in the chat now. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. We'll go over a couple more tickers, and then once we have the orange folder news events, we'll go over kind of our game plan coming into market open here. We'll talk about some memory tickers here in a second. Memory's been moving up nicely. We talked about that potential break on MU. The key levels that we have marked out was that 930. Once we're able to break above, we had that nice retest for continuation. MU now, I'd like to see it move up in towards really our 1000, 1010 area. Okay, with that being said, let's just wait now for the orange folder news events that we have. That's going to be in 20 seconds. Not really expecting it to impact the market as much, so very much well it could just have no real reaction here in the markets. But we'll see. Just with the spine cues at our all-time highs, game plan today is just going to be looking for continuation. Yeah, with the overall markets, at least coming to market open, we're just kind of right at our key technical levels for today. Let me just mark out some more levels here on the ES. Yeah, coming to market open, fairly bullish here on the overall indices and then everything else here as well. So the numbers in actually on the core retail sales, month over month is 0.2, negative 0.3 was the actual, and then the retail sales month over month, you can see forecasted was 0.1% compared to the actual, which is negative 0.6%. So pretty big discrepancy here on the core retail sales. But overall, higher time frames, at least if we're talking about the overall markets plus the key technical levels, previous day highs is going to be key. Game plan still intact. Above our previous day highs, we're going to be looking for continuation. So let's head on to some of the names that we have. AVGO, this one just hasn't really done as much. We want to see the break outside this range here now, above that 425 for continuation. Oracle, this one's been bouncing nicely. Previous levels of support, resistance now turning into support for continuation. Oracle has room back up in towards 160, which is really the area that we broke down from. Palantir, nice break back above that previous day highs yesterday. This one happened later into the session, but Palantir move up in towards now that kind of brand new high that we created here for this week. So Palantir, once we're able to get above that previous day highs later into the session, nice pop into close. Now, if we want to see continuation here on Palantir, right, just above our previous day highs, that's going to be key. All right, so we can mark out this out above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside right off the bat. Another possible scenario, hold, right, reclaim later into the session for continuation higher here on Palantir. Let's take a look at memory. Memory is going to be my favorite coming into market open. DRAM, this one, of course, is finally breaking back above our level of resistance, which happens to be our 56. That's why memory had a really nice flip yesterday. So you can see this is our level of resistance, turn into support, turn back into resistance. And now you can see for for DRAM, flipping back above here. So DRAM, memory, ETF, we're getting back above the EMAs here now as well, short term. Breaking back above this flat top. Let's look for a continuation here on the semiconductors, specifically memory, for a push towards the upside. Next key levels that we have marked out, or the main key levels that we have marked out, is now going to be all the way back up in towards our 58. Let's just remove all this. So really the main key levels that we have on DRAM is going to be up into that 59, 60 area. So for today, as long as you can maintain above that previous day highs, that's going to be key. We can look for continuation up in towards our 59 and above on DRAM. With that being said, let's keep an eye out on MU. Right, yesterday we end up having that nice bounce off that previous day highs for continuation. Today we're just going to be looking for continuation above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside. SNDK, this one is fairly bullish here as well, up 13% yesterday. Once we were able to finally break outside of this kind of like downtrend break, you can see lower highs are being built. And then once we're able to finally break back above, nice continuation towards the upside. Pretty strong candle close here as well. There is room on SNDK back up in towards 1700 here today. So for SNDK, there is room, as I mentioned. Let's mark out this. Next levels towards the upside is going to be 1700 for SNDK. Now we just want to see it maintain above our previous day highs. Hold for a push towards the upside. Another possible scenario above our pre-market highs for continuation towards the upside here as well. INTC, this one is finally breaking back above as well. This is the flat top break that we have. Once we're able to reclaim back above, you can see nice continuation so far. Now we just want to see higher lows be built for a move all the way back up in towards that 114 here on the higher time frames. As for INTC, levels that we have marked out, we have that 104, so it could potentially come back down into that 104 for continuation. But most likely what I'd like to see here now on INTC, consolidation, push up in towards that previous day highs, or now above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside here as well. So all the semiconductors plus memory, we're just going to be looking for continuation long towards the upside here now. WDC bounce off the lows. Now you can see this one's moving up nicely. Earnings reversal here is in play. WDC, keep an eye on that previous day highs for, of course, continuation back towards the upside here as well. SK Hynix is reclaiming back above that opening print. So key levels that we have marked out is going to be that IPO low. We're actually back at key technical levels, which is that 168. Coming to market open, let's keep an eye on SK Hynix above that previous day highs. hold for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario above our previous day, sorry, pre-market highs for continuation higher here as well. Other names I'll look at MBIS. We talked about that opening drive yesterday. MBIS still looks really good. Keep an eye out on that break once again above that 260 for continuation back up in towards that previous day highs and above. MRVL, this one we like to see now just the base above that 220 for continuation. TSM still looks really good here as well. Keep an eye on that 424 hold for a push back towards the upside. Or the other levels you can keep in mind is that previous day highs, 433 if you want to see continuation. As for a few other tickers, keep an eye out on CRWV. This one had a nice pop yesterday right off the bat within the first really 15 minutes, really strong push towards the upside. At least for CRWV and MBIS, as long as you can maintain above key technical levels, still looking for that continued push back towards the upside. Let's go over a couple more tickers. Cisco, this one had earnings recently. That was yesterday. Key technical levels that we have marked out. If we look at this on the daily chart, this one is still very much intact. You can mark out that gap kind of high that we have created. Now for Cisco, we have another gap that we created here as well. So key levels that we have marked out is just going to be now all the way back down into that low that we have created. Other levels is at 114. So we can kind of just refine this previous day highs, and then we can also mark out that previous day lows. If we do want to see any sort of potential earnings reversal, it's going to take a little bit longer, right? Consolidate, and then eventually have this earnings reversal play back towards the upside. Okay, with that being said, one of my favorite questions, do you keep an eye out on all the tickers, or do you selectively focus on main ones? I'll look at 2 to 3, so I'll break down into 2 to 3 top watches, and then I'll have another screen where I'll take a look at some of the watches that I have, right? Maybe like this, like 8 screen layout, where I'll take a look at some other names that I'm focused on. I'll set alerts on all the other names I'm not watching, so I don't have to really pay attention to every single ticker, especially if names that aren't as bullish on the day, right, that are still set up on the higher time frames. I'll just set up alerts so I don't have to maintain every single name. I try and break it down into like 2 to 3 top watches, and I'll keep an eye out on around 6 to 8 watches coming to market open. How do I draw the box? The box is just mainly drawn. It's just old highs, old lows on the higher time frames, mainly just previous day highs and previous day lows. All right, with that being said, the game plan coming into market open here is just looking for a continuation long above our previous day highs coming into today. SPY, we want to see that push up in towards that previous day highs. We'll keep an eye on the reaction off that area. For some of the names coming into today, Tesla inside that gap fill, we'll keep an eye on Tesla coming to market open. NVIDIA, we'll still keep an eye on this one above that 225 for continuation towards the upside. You're just using the rectangle, right? Go into the drawing tools. You can go into the left-hand side. You can go down. It's right here, right? You go to shapes and you click rectangle, and then you can just click extend on the shapes. NVIDIA, keep an eye on that one. As for a few other tickers, right? SpaceX above our previous day highs for potential continuation. Other names, main watches today are going to be the semis along with the memory ticker. So MU above our previous day highs for continuation. SNDK above our previous day highs for continuation. WDC. So the memory names are the strongest, and then we'll keep an eye out on some of the semis as well. INTC, Palantir still looks good for continuation. Let's keep an eye on Palantir. It's going to be above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside here today. And then all the other tickers, right, previous day highs, a lot of names look that look really good. MBIS still for continuation. Right now with the markets being at all-time highs, most tickers are, of course, running. Right, SPY's at all-time highs, Q's looking like a move back up in towards that all-time highs here is in play as well. So whenever this is the case, right, we can just look for any sort of tickers, right, even the SMH, right, we're just going to be looking for a continuation, of course, above our previous day highs. So keep an eye on Tesla, NVIDIA, some of the semiconductors, and of course, Palantir as well for continuation. So with that being said, that is going to be it for me today. Going to get ready for market open here now. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. This week, I do have a YouTube video. It's going to be a kind of beginner options course. So that's going to come out on Sunday. I know you guys have been asking for that one. So keep an eye out for that on Sunday. And then tomorrow, I will have a weekly recap updating you guys on my trading this month so far. Plus, we're going to do a weekly outlook as well. So that's going to be it for me today. And I will see you guys all next week. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.